Today is the day that I am going to put my new Beatbot Sora 70 in the water. And we have so many questions. This truly is a science experiment. Number one, is the Sora 70 worth the money? Because let's be real. If you live on a budget, which our family does, it's an expensive robot. Although if you're paying for a pool man, at least at our house, it will be covered within 6 months. So that is a good investment if it does what it says. So I have my filthy pool, and now we are going to drop the bot. Okay, so this is absolutely disgusting. So I have my camera up back there, and we drop the robot, and the pool is absolutely filthy. It's doing its job, but it's kicking up all this silt and grossness. It's absolutely gross. So I'm going to turn around and show you from this perspective what it looks like. It's super murky everywhere. So you can see some of the paths that it's driven. You can see that it's gone over there. But again, the water has gone from being flat where you can see the bottom to all of a sudden it's hard to see. There's another little road that it's driven, but you can see that it's actually doing the job. It's about ready to come up on the wall over there. It's doing its thing. It's on the wall. But it is kicking up nastiness. It's so cute the way that it falls down. I have to tell you, I think I am going to love my Beatbot. Especially now, I am thinking with how disgusting the bottom of my pool is. I am thinking, look at how much it's kicking up. It's kicking up so much nastiness. Oh, it's so much nastiness that's getting kicked up. It's got a whole trail behind it of nastiness. Oh, look at it. It just went over the edge. It just went over the edge. Look at it. It climbed into the seat. Yes, you're a good little Beatbot. Yes, you are. You're a good little Beatbot, aren't you? Are you Mommy's new favorite toy? Yes, you're a good little Beatbot. Yes. Are you turning yourself around? Look at you. Yes. Are you going to drive over the edge now? It's going so fast. Oh, there it goes. And just like that, it's over the edge. Where did it go? What is it doing? It's in the deep end, which some of the filthiest stuff. I mean, the pool is just filthy. The deep end, oh, look at it. It's just kicking up a bit. It's becoming hard to see because it's just kicking up this entire grossness all the way along the bottom. While it goes that way, I just want you to see what it did. Where it's lighter, because our pool bottom is this really pretty brownish color, but where it's lighter in the corner along the edge, it didn't get those areas, but what it did get, it got all of the center stuff, and then it didn't get along the edge super well yet. But again, it's the first time coming up in this area. My mom and I are outside and we're watching the Beatbot and we're discussing how excited I just got over in the corner as it did the step. And what I have to say, and what I was getting ready to tell my mom, and I just thought I should let you know as well, is that the reason I am so insanely excited is because this could actually be a problem solver. And it's a problem solver that doesn't only solve my problem of making my pool brainless, where I just have to go to the pool store and do my chemistry and they tell me what to drop in. And then I drop my bot in whenever I need to, multiple times a week. And all of a sudden I have a clean pool all the time. And I'm seeing how, obviously today we're watching it because we don't know what we're doing today, but I'm seeing how on a regular day, that this becomes something that becomes self-sustaining. That in the morning, I just drop the bot in, especially for having somebody come over or having a pool party or whatever it is, or you're planning on going swimming. Just drop the bot in the morning, and by the time I'm ready to do whatever I'm going to do, the pool's going to be clean. I really think I'm going to like this as much as I think I am watching it do what it's doing. Now, as far as our science experiment, I'm definitely thinking that our science experiment is going to be a multiple round because my pool is filthy. I mean, granted, we're only in the first half an hour of this experiment, but with how much sludge and silt and nastiness is being kicked up and how I can't see the bottom and how I can't see anything, I just find it hard to believe that it's going to be able to get everything this time. But again, it is actually May 31st today, and my pool hasn't been cleaned. Well, I fired my pool man in September, but honestly, I don't think he had cleaned my pool, like cleaned the bottom, since before August. So we're talking, that's almost a year. That's at least 9 months that my pool bottom hasn't been cleaned. And it's gone through a hard year. But my Beatbot Sora 70 is gonna solve my problem. I'm in love. So it's ridiculously hot, and Grandma doesn't want to be on camera today. But I stopped recording, and she goes, "I've named her." And I said, "Okay, what have you named her?" And she goes, "Betty." And I go, "Betty the bot?" And she goes, "Yeah." This is amazing. I'm genuinely excited that this really may be a solution to my problem. I'll let you know more. If you found value in today's video, like, share, and subscribe so we can hang out again. So this is Betty's second go on the step. She came up and she's having quite the fun moving around. So she is doing such a good job of driving around the pool that the pool is completely murky at this point. When I came out, I had been inside to check some stuff. When I came out, they said, "Where's Betty?" to my mom, and my mom said, "I don't know." And then I saw her bubbles, and I could see her going across the pool from her bubbles, but not from being able to visibly see her because the pool is so filthy. She's a good little bot. I'm a silly goose. So I hadn't really looked at the hook. I have this lovely scoping pool pole, and I hadn't really looked at it, and I was running all around my house because we have a second scoping pool pole that I use that we have. This is our shorter one. And I was assuming that I needed to have those little V-shaped clips. So I've gone all over my house because I know I have a bunch, because I bought a bunch, because I know the break. Yeah, I can't find them anywhere. I don't know where they are. Isn't that funny? But that's not the point of the story. I go and I look for the hook, and the hook doesn't need it. So don't run around your house looking for the V-shaped little pool clips. All you have to do is just insert it, and you're golden. You're ready to go. I'm really loving my Sora 70. They really have thought of everything. Again, this is about making my life easier. I didn't have to run around looking for the clips. It's already there. It's already ready to go. Although my pool is murky and filthy still. We are about an hour and a half, 2 hours in. The reality is I know she's cleaning it, and I know she's getting all that ook up, and I can't wait to see what the first day looks like. I'm so excited. And I do have a very strong feeling with how my water looks right now that this is going to be at least a second day, if not a third day. And maybe it's not days. Maybe it's that in the morning tomorrow, I just drop her in, and then we let her go. And then I charge her, clean her out, charge her, and then maybe we drop her in again tomorrow night. Who knows? Who knows how long this is going to take? Again, this is a science experiment. We are going to find out how Betty the bot, otherwise known as our Beatbot Sora 70, is going to do with an extremely filthy pool. She's going to make it pretty. It went and parked itself on the other side. We didn't get to it quick enough. And so Betty went for a little swim around the pool, and she was doing her skimming on the top. But in the app, it said that I needed to empty the filter. So it's been going for about 2.5 hours or so, and my pool is so dirty, it already needs the filter emptied. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So in order to empty the filter, I'm going to lift the lid. I'm going to pull out that filter, and I am going to tap and get all that sand and guck out of it and get that all cleaned out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get my hose, and I'm going to go out into my grass, and I'm going to just rinse the rest of it off. And just like that, it is just as it started the day, clean. So I'm going to go drop it back in Betty, and we are going to keep her going. Stay with me. We are just going to drop the filter right inside of the bot. There is this little cutout in front of the filter, which matches a cutout that's on the front of the bot. And you just line those up and drop it in. Once it's in, you're just going to make sure that it is situated properly and that the handle to the filter is laid down. And then I'm going to close that lid, make sure it's on there tight, lift it up, and before you know it, we have just dropped Betty back in the pool after her first cleaning of her filter. She is gone for about 2.5, 3 hours. She is doing a great job. Our pool is filthy and murky and everything has been kicked up in it. And that's okay because it is disgusting. Our filter was filled with sand, which makes sense because we live in Central Florida and Florida is built on sand. We get a lot of sand in our house. It makes sense. So stick with us and let's see how much longer this takes. I'm emptying the second round of first day of Miss Betty. And again, I have a bunch of sand. There's a bunch of other dirt in there as well, but so much sand. Okay, so we're going to just drop it in. And now I'm going to go clean it off the way that we did the first one. So here are my thoughts on the first day of our brand new Beatbot Sora 70, otherwise known as Betty, as Grandma has now deemed her name. Betty the bot, the pool bot. Anyways, our first idea is that she's doing a great job. Our pool is filthy. As I've stated from the beginning of this, I didn't think she'd get it in one go around. I'm amazed at how much I saw her getting up, but in this moment, our pool is insanely murky and filthy still. So the plan for tonight is I'm going to clean the filter. I'm going to turn on our pool pump and see if our pool pump can kick up or clean through any of the murkiness. And I'm going to charge Miss Betty, Miss Beatbot Sora 70 tonight. And first thing in the morning, I am going to drop Miss Betty so that she can work some more in our pool. I actually, with what I saw her doing, have great hope that she is going to be able to do everything. But again, our pool hasn't been thoroughly cleaned in probably about 9 months. It's disgusting. And so far, I'm super happy with Miss Betty. Good morning. It's day 2 of our Beatbot Sora 70, otherwise known as Betty, the pool bot, is going to do our second round of cleaning our extremely filthy pool. And when I say extremely, I mean extremely. So a quick recap from day 1 is that our pool, you could see through to the bottom, even in the deep end. Our chemistry was actually in a really good spot when we started this. I'm not so sure because of everything that's been kicked up now. But the reality is we are going to finish and get our pool clean, and then we will readjust our chemistry again. So today, it looks like we are going to get rain. So depending, I may or may not have a full ray of how much Betty does today. Also yesterday, the reality is she kicked up so much sediment that it was really hard to watch her other than to see the gurgling from the bubbles from where she was. It's just what it is. But overnight, I turned on our pool filter. I ran it all night. It brought it to where I can see, at least in the shallow end of our pool, down to the bottom again. Also, this morning, the first thing I did is I went out and turned off our pool pump, and I have changed that pool filter. It was disgusting. It was so gross. It had all this sediment coming out of it. It was brown. It is the sand that is in the bottom of our pool. So we are in the process of getting our extremely filthy pool clean. So here we go, day 2. Okay, Betty, have a good day, darling. I know, it's exciting, isn't it? Granny just grabbed my shoulder because she's so excited. We are all ready to be able to use our pool again. Just like that, in the midst of the storm coming in, Betty decided that she needed to have her filter cleaned. And let me tell you, when I went to lift it out, there was water still in it. And again, what's on the bottom of the filter is an insane amount of sand. So as I go to lift it out, there's water that's captured in there. And really, it's amazing how the sand just stops the water from going through. So before the rain really hit, I ran and just rinsed it out, got Betty dropped. She's diving again. And we're just gonna let her go back to work through the rain, and just know that it's a Florida rain right now.
Betty works in all weather and she doesn't complain.
And there she goes. She's diving into the water. And just like that, she's off. You're right. Betty works in all weather and she doesn't complain. Okay, so Betty is done with her second full round of the pool. And what can we say? It's murky again. But it's okay, Ellie. I promise. It's going to be fine. So it's okay that it's murky because our pool is filthy. And I have already cleaned her out once during this first initial run for today, the second day in a row. I'm going to pull Betty out of our pool and I'm going to clean her filter and get her all charged up. I'm going to turn our filtration system on for a while, and then we're going to see if we get her all charged up and have time to drop her in for a third run. Let's see how this goes, shall we? Hey, Betty. Our filter is actually really dirty again. It's about the same that it was. Oh, and it's doing that thing where the water isn't dropping through again. Can you see that? So there's water that's just right there that's just sitting because the sand has dirtied the filter so much. So I'm going to go get, ooh, it's so thick. I'm going to go get that cleaned out. What I was noticing is that there was a bunch of nastiness on our Beatbot after its second cleaning. And I had done some research prior using my AI assistant, and it had said that we would need to clean our bot at different times after a certain amount of use. And it said that we could rinse off our Beatbot with the hose and make sure that it was all clean and ready for the third go around. I've included the rest of the footage that I have of this day of Betty cleaning the pool. It's at 4,000 speed and we love to watch it and try to go, where's Betty? Can you spy Betty? There's Betty. No, Betty's over there now. It's something fun that we personally like doing. We hope that you enjoy playing Where's Betty and seeing how she cleans the pool. I found it really interesting the way that she crisscrosses, zigzags. It doesn't seem to have a rhythm or a pattern, but yet she ends up doing such an amazing job. Thanks for sticking with us and watching our second day of our science experiment. And I can't wait to share the rest of the grand adventure with you. It is day 3, and our new Beatbot Sora 70 has been working on our pool for 2 days. And in those 2 days, the first day, she kicked up all the crud on the bottom of our pool because our pool was filthy. And our beautiful pool chemistry, all of a sudden, you couldn't even see in. It was absolutely crazy. And then yesterday, I had run, after she was done the first day, I had run our pool pump overnight, and yesterday before we started on our day 2, I pulled our pool filter and I replaced it, and then I cleaned it, and it was disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting. And then I put Betty in for day 2, and Betty did a great job. She worked all day, part of the day in downpours, Florida downpours. She did a great job. She didn't complain. And then after that, I turned on our pool pump again and allowed it to go all night. And I come out and my pool is beautiful. Now, is it clean? Not completely. But is it so much better than it's been? Yes. So as you can see, I can see in the deep end again. My pool chemistry all of a sudden looks like it's good again. Woohoo! I mean, obviously, once this is all done, we will, once she's fully clean, we will test. It'll be time to test our pool anyways, because we do it once a week, and we will make sure our pool chemistry is right. But Betty is getting it done. She is doing a great job. Are there areas that still need to be done? Yeah. Is there things that she needs to step up on? Yeah. But the reality is, it is so much better than it had been. Our pool was looking absolutely awful. But I'm just so excited as I bring the dogs out this morning that I can see it all the way to the deep end and to the bottom of the pool again, and that the water is less murky and it is looking good. Now I'm seeing that the areas that she really has to work on are getting the steps better, the corners. But oh my goodness, it's looking good. Here's to day 3. We came up with, since Betty's doing a great job, she's not being perfect, but we don't expect perfection. We know that we may have to help her just a little bit because, again, our pool was insanely filthy. So this morning we were talking as a family, and we came up with an idea that what we should do is the areas that she's struggling with a little bit, that we should help her out by brushing the sand. Specifically, in this case, it's sand and sediment, and we're going to brush it into the areas that she's doing a great job of actually cleaning. So back in 2020, during the pandemic, that summer, I had gotten us, we lived in Colorado, and I had gotten us a little Intex pool. It's one of the circle rounds, the 10-foot circle rounds, and it had the little blow-up circle around the top. It was very fun, and it made a summer that otherwise would have been insanely challenging and sad. It made it a good summer. But in that moment, I ordered stuff for a pool because I had to keep it clean, and that's when I ordered this brush. It did a great job that whole season of helping keep the pool clean and keep its stuff off the edges. That's when I ordered this lovely pole, specifically that adjusts for cleaning pools. So on the end, it has multiple holes. You can see on the end that there's holes on the inside, and there has 2 sets of holes. But it also has this lovely black cover that makes it super easy to push down on the little V's that come with the pool equipment. If you have any kind of arthritis or hand problems, you're going to love this feature because we also have the pole that came with our pool, and it doesn't have it, and it's much harder to get it to work. I love this feature on this pole. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop it in and connect the 2 pieces on the brush and my pole. And now I'm going to start doing a little brushing to help our little Betty the bot out so that we can have a clean pool for the first time in like a super long time. And we can use our pool because it's June and it's like 100% humidity today, and it's going to be in the 90s. So we want our pool functional. So here we go, shall we? Oops, see all of that. Oh, and on the scope, if you can go up here, to adjust, it's super easy. You have these super thick knobs that help you. It loosens it. And then what you do when you have it where you want it, you tighten it. And since they are so thick, they're really good, especially if you have any kind of arthritis or if your hands just have trouble gripping. They are really great, thick, nice hand, and then it has a nice rubber. These have gotten really dirty in the move, but they have this really nice rubber coating that has ridges to it that give you a great gripping again without having to have gloves on. Okay, back to us sweeping our steps. Immediately, all that sediment that has been kicked up in the pool this week is all of a sudden being kicked up again. Well, I think this is going to work. I think this isn't just going to work. I think this is going to work insanely well. The fun part of this, so We've talked about that we're a multi-generational family, and I'm a caretaker and I care for my parents. But I don't know that I've mentioned I have a channel on YouTube that I haven't been working on right now because I have too much going on in my life. But it's actually about caring for my father who's cognitively declining. And the fun part of this morning was that my dad, who's really in the middle to advancing stages of cognitive decline, he's the one, he was out here looking at it. He's been tracking all the fun that has come with our Betty, our bot, and getting our pool clean. God love my dad. He is ready to be in his pool, which who's not, right? It's hot and we are ready. I mean, that's why we bought this house. We bought this house so that we could enjoy the pool. It's one of the many reasons. But my dad this morning, he was so cute. He looked at me and he goes, trying to troubleshoot different ways. And he goes, what if we brush it? And I was like, oh, that's brilliant. And the fun part is that my beautiful father, he doesn't have a lot of brilliant moments lately. He has a lot of missing it moments. But this morning, when it came to getting our pool put together and trying to help Betty, our bot, my beautiful father had the winning idea, I think. Isn't that just fun? I think the hard part is he will forget it, but we will keep reminding him that he had the winning idea and how we can help Betty the bot with our weird shaped steps. She does a really good job of getting up to the second step, but she definitely does not get up on that top step, I've noticed. And then also in our pool seat area, it's a very similar thing where the seat is, but there's a little like tiny step in the corner and she doesn't get on that. And so I'm thinking it has something to do with water levels. And she does great about getting on the walls themselves. But what she doesn't do great with is she doesn't do great with the circular or the round feature of our steps. See, we're just kicking up. All of our pretty water is dissipating. And I'm sure it makes sense to people who care for pools that you would brush it out. We've never had a pool and we've only had that little Intex pool. And that was only because of COVID. And well, if you were alive, you know what it was like. At the time, trying to give my child a normal childhood. My child was 9. The funny part of this conversation is that little Intex pool is the reason I hired a pool man, because I was really clear that I was not going to be in charge of our pool and keeping it clean. And yet here we are today. But you know what? The glory is with Betty the bot, or otherwise known as a Beatbot Sora 70. The reality is that it's not me keeping it clean. I'm just going to have to do a couple of little assistance helps for our Betty, our sweet bot Betty, that Grandma named immediately.
If you found value in today's video, like, share, and subscribe so we can hang out again.
So here we are, day 3, dropping Betty the bot, otherwise known as Beatbot Sora 70, in the pool for its 3rd run. Have a good day, Betty. Hard work. And there she is diving. After Betty dives, she sits there for a bit and collects herself before she starts running the pool. So just know this whole process takes, give or take, 5 minutes. And off Betty goes. Look at how much sediment she's kicking as she goes. Okay, Betty's done with day 3. Here we go. After doing some research, we found that besides cleaning the filter, rinsing off Betty is a good idea, especially if you have mineral-rich water, which we do. And I started to notice grime on it. So I'm going to take Betty and the filter over there, and we're going to get it rinsed off. Ooh, 3rd day grime. Look at those snails. And just like that, it's cleaned out. So now I'm going to get, oh, it always likes this one little spot. Thoughts on day 3? Who would have thought? Somehow I knew that this was going to be a science experiment. And somehow I knew that my pool was so filthy that one quick go with one charge wasn't going to be sufficient. But here's what happened today on day 3. Number 1, you saw how the pool looked when we started. I had brushed all the sand and sediment towards where Betty goes. It already kicked up all the But Betty did the whole thing with me not emptying her filter once. The other thing that happened on this time is that Betty didn't concentrate on the floor and the walls throughout the entire cycle. Each time I have pushed the feature that has skimming as well. And each time she hasn't skimmed the pool. But today is the day that Betty went crazy, skimming and skimming and skimming. And I have to say that Hello, Grace. The dog is behind me in the lanai. I have to say that the glorious thing is that she did a great job skimming. Yay! That's why we hired her. I'm really excited, actually. So our pool is still murky. I'm going to turn on our pool pump and we are going to get that cycled through so it will be clear again by morning. Because of just the fact that there's still a lot of sediment in it, we are definitely going to run her a 4th day. I don't know that we need it. I don't know. We'll know in the morning, but I'm still going to run it just to be on the safe side and to see how much that we kick up. I am super excited because the way I see this, once we get this clean, she's going to be freaking amazing and she's going to make my life easy. And she's going to make me not upset that I'm taking over the pool. She's going to solve my problem. Have a beautiful day. Good morning. It is day 4 in sunny Florida. Here we are on day 4 with our Beatbot Sora 70. And all I can say is I am ecstatic and I am so freaking excited. The reason I am so excited is because of how the pool looks this morning. But first, let me rewind real quick and explain what I did last night off camera. Last night, I came out here just before dark and there was a storm that seemed to be rolling in. And I saw that after Betty was done and everything had settled, that we had some sand, some sediment that had kicked back up onto the steps and into those corners that are her hard places to get. And so I, real quick, trying to outrun the storm that was coming in, I decided that I was just going to real quickly take the brush and go around the whole pool the way that I did earlier in the day. And while I was doing it, just like earlier in the day, it kicked up a bunch of sediment in the pool, which was great because I was going to run the pool pump all night, which kept pulling it. It did great. So this morning I came out and the pool looks fantastic. All the hard spots are good because I brushed them last night. And then there is a bunch of sand and sediment that has gathered. The birds are really excited too. There's a bunch of sand and sediment that has gathered in the middle of the pool and has settled overnight. So I look at our pool today and it's looking freaking awesome, minus the little sand settlements in the middle. Overall, I am super psyched, especially with how filthy our pool was at the beginning of this process. So I'm thinking that unless I get pretty picky and neat, which I can be, and I sometimes do, I'm thinking today might be the final day. But we may throw in a 5th day just for good measure. And then it'll be on to maintenancing and Betty doing her job. So right now we are going to get started with Betty this morning and we are going to drop her and let her get that sand settlements in the middle. And we are so excited because we are that much closer to using our pool and to having it open for the summer. I'm so excited. Come along for the journey. Stay around and see. Do I add a 5th day or is the 4th day our final day? You know what I've noticed? I've noticed something else. I've noticed that every time, like she's already lined up and to be ready to do all the round that I like her to do, which is the full cycle. And I just looked, she's already on because I just unplugged her and she's on standby. This girl is ready to go. She is so awesome. Really, they make this super simple for anybody. Anybody can use this bot. I'm telling you, the technology, the app, every aspect of it is super simple. There she goes. She's going to dive and clean the pool. The coolest part is that the app and the functionality of the robot, of Betty, I know she won't be named Betty in your house, but of our Sora 70, the reality is that it is super simple. And once you get it set up, it's ready to go when you unplug it and you go to drop it. It's awesome. Betty, I thought you said you wanted to have your stuff emptied. So Betty sent me a text message. Granny also came out and was checking on her. And it said that Betty wanted to have her filters emptied. So it is time on day 4 to empty Betty's filter again. Ooh, it is amazing to me how much sediment keeps being in there. She's doing a good job. Just shows how insanely filthy our pool actually was. So I'm going to get this cleaned up. I'm going to get Betty dropped back in the pool. Okay, filter clean. Okay, Betty, you got this, girl. Kick it out. So where we are at in this moment is Betty is doing a great job. She is picking up a lot of the sediment that's still there. The pool is murky, but I can still see the bottom, which that's really exciting at this point, because at this point it's been running for, I think, almost 3 hours. And the fact that we can still see the bottom means that she really is starting to really get the sediment out, the sand out. So halfway through day 4, let's watch Betty fully dive. There she goes. I came out and Betty was acting a little erratic. It seemed like she was stuck on the jet. And so I pulled her out and I dropped her back in, and now she's back over. Betty has gone offline and she hasn't kicked back over in the app, but she's been out here for over 5 hours. And so at this point, I just think that she's low battery. She probably needs to be emptied, and she's probably done for the day. Which if she was online, I would be able to tell that within the app. I love the app. She does go offline. She's gone offline a couple times. Normally she catches up really easily and quickly. And for whatever reason at this point, she's just not reconnecting. And it's really not a big deal. So I'm just going to pull her. I'm going to clean the filter and I'm going to clean her off. We're going to turn our pool pump back on and let the filtration clear out the murkiness. But let's just understand where we started. Today is day 4. Where we started on day 1 is I couldn't see anything in my pool after she was done. At this point, I can still see, even though it's murky, I can still see the bottom of our deep end. I am super excited with what is happening. But after I get everything going, the last thing I'll do before dark tonight is I will come out and I will do that sweeping that I did last night. I think it really helped get more of that sediment. I see that a little bit more has collected on our steps. And again, they collect in the corners. And so I will come and push them into the middle. And I do believe that a day 5 is in our future. But honestly, our pool was so stinking filthy. I'm so impressed. And she is so easy to use. Even when it's not perfect, it's still easy to use. They have made this brainless. You can do this. So far, the way I see her is she is well worth every penny that we spent. And every penny that we spent on her was money that we really thought about, because we are a family that lives on a budget. To give you some idea of how much sediment she kicked up this time, by preparing the pool last night, and brushing off the steps and the corners last night, letting it find itself in the middle, she has had 2 full baskets of sand and sediment. She worked really hard today. I really like this. Again, I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm trying to figure out how this works best for us with a filthy pool. And I'm finding that by doing that at night as the prep work, allowing our pool pump to run all night allows it to pull out as much sediment as it can through the filtration system, but it also allows the sediment that remains to settle in the middle of the pool. And obviously, I mean, we're on our 4th day. Obviously, she was able to pick up a bunch of that today. This is super exciting. I was hoping that it would settle the pool for this morning and have the sand where she could catch it, was my thought last night. So I was excited when I came out and the sediment was laid down, that we could see to the bottom clearly, and that there was lines of sediment that weren't there when I did it. And so I know that the pool pump probably pulled a bunch out into the filter as well. So the fun thing that I'm noticing is, although she's kicking up a little bit, but it's not nearly as it's been. Have a beautiful day. Day 5. I had my kid do the brushing last night, and then we ran the pumps again last night, and this is the morning. Everything is looking great overall. At this point, honestly, it feels a little picky-uni to keep going, but I am just that type A personality. There are just some small little streaks in the pool of the sediment and sand that are there. They're not nearly as noticeable up higher as they were yesterday. Day 5 thoughts. Well, I feel like I could swim in my pool today, which is amazing. I am going to get started and drop Betty. We are going to pick up the rest of it. We are going to see if she skims today. She didn't skim yesterday. We did 2 drops yesterday. This is the 3rd day that I hadn't brushed everything in. We had brushed it in, but we hadn't let it settle. And so she did a lot of skimming that day. So it's interesting the differences. Beginning of day 5. Woohoo! So it is about 3 hours into day 5. I got a push notification from my Sora app that Betty wanted to have her filter cleaned out. But when I came out, Betty was busy skimming because she was busy working. So I've pulled her out. Ooh. So this is what day 5, this is what's coming out after 5 days of skimming. That is how filthy our pool was. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cleaned out. We're going to put it back in Betty, and we're going to drop her back in the pool again. We have the filter cleaned out. It is ready. I'm going to drop it in Betty. Here we are, dropping the filter in Betty, closing it up, and putting her back in. Now, things to keep in mind that are amazing. It has been going for 3 hours. I can still see the bottom of my pool. Yeah, I can see spots of sediment that remain, but it's really exciting because the reality is our pool had not been cleaned since September. It is currently the 4th of June. So the fact that we've been working on it for 5 days isn't crazy, because if you think of how long that is, even though we have a cage, we live in Central Florida. The reality is that there is a lot of sand around here, and then sediment just also joined with it. And Betty is getting our pool back to beautiful. So we are going to let her finish her day. We are going to see where we end for the day and see what decisions we make. However, I do think with how it's looking that this might be our final day as far as our science experiment. Doesn't mean that I won't run her a couple times later this week, but it does mean that I think our pool is almost open. But stick around and find out. You can see Betty diving from where we just put her back in. It takes her about 5 minutes. Before you know it, she'll be back to work. She's good like that. Today is the end of day 5. And what can I say? But I love Betty more today than the first day we dropped her in the pool. She's done a fantastic job. She worked over 5 hours today on our pool. There's a little bit of sediment in the pool. I'm sure I'm gonna turn the pool pump on, and I'm sure it's actually gonna pull most of it out. And we're at the place on after the first night, I changed our pool filter and cleaned it off. And I'm thinking tomorrow I will do the same thing. Our jets are starting to slow down and acquire the sediment in it. And so I will, in the morning, pull our pool filter, switch it out, and get those jets going really strong. I'm thinking that this is the end of our experiment, but I'll let you know in the morning. But overall, super excited and highly satisfied with my new Beatbot Sora 70, otherwise known as Betty the Bot, the pool bot. But the one thing that I do want you to notice about today is normally Betty parks herself just anywhere along the sides. But today, Betty parked herself on our second step to make it even that much more easy. And I have to say that how easy is it to get her in and out of the pool? As you pull her up, she's weighted down because of the water. So I'm a middle-aged woman who is moderately fit. The reality is I can do it, and it's really not a problem. So if you're a little bit older or struggle with weight that's around 20 to 30 pounds, which is kind of what it feels like as you pull her out of the water initially because of the water, the amount of water that's in it, that's something to know to like anchor yourself appropriately so you don't fall in, and that you're able to hold her as she drains out that water. Oh, Another thing to be aware of, she likes to turn our pool jets. They have angles, as I'm sure you're aware, that they can shoot in different angles. And just be aware that she does like to adjust the angles of our pool jets. And I looked down and I saw that our jet on our second step is now facing directly up. So that's a good thing to note before you turn on the pool pump. Otherwise, stick with me and I will give you a full synopsis of what the science experiment has meant to our family overall, everything that we have learned on this journey. And I thanks for sticking with us till the end. I wanted to have a little poolside chat about my new Beatbot Sora 70 and our science experiment with our pool. For those of you who've stuck around till the end, thanks for sticking with us. It's been a fun adventure. The reality is that my new Sora 70 has been a blessing in our life. It has been something that as we got rid of our pool man and let our pool sit unattended for an extended period of time. So we have let our pool sit for truly 9 months. And in the midst of that, it went into an eco pool as we discussed. We got our pool chemistry right. And then once we got our pool chemistry right, we had this amazingly disgusting pool that we had to deal with. And the conversation in our family was, did we want to have a pool man on property or did we want to try something different? And that is when I found this lovely Beatbot Sora 70. Ours is now named Betty the Bot. For those of you who have been with us from the beginning, Grandma named her. But the reality is I'm so glad I found her. So overall, this experience has been really refreshing. It's really refreshing to order something and the product be what it says that it does. Now, obviously, it took us 5 times to run Betty, and with the way that our days have been, we did it 5 days in a row. Our pool today has actually been sitting for 3 days since we ran Betty last. The pool looks great. After the 5th run, I dropped a round of chemicals, let it run for the 24 hours, and it's beautiful. It glistens. It's absolutely wonderful. So the things I love the most about Betty is she solves my problem. I don't have to deal with somebody who isn't doing their job completely, or deal with micromanaging somebody that I've hired to do something. Instead, I get to drop our Beatbot in the pool and my job is to clean it and to rinse it off. And the one thing that I did find in this journey was my job is also to prep the pool. And we found that with brushing all the any crud that you may have from the hard to reach areas for Betty, which are your corners or your top steps, or we have rounded edges on the edges of our pool. And those were areas that Betty, although worked on, wasn't completely proficient in. So if you start by using your brush and getting those things kicked into the middle, and then we found if you let it sit overnight and then release Betty to the pool, it's, well, and maybe you'll name yours Betty, your Sora 70 in the pool, the most amazing thing happens. It cleans your pool. I am so excited to have this summer with our Sora 70. I am so excited that it has come into our life. And the things that I love most about it, number one, it makes my life simple. It solves a problem. Number two, it's easy to use. I love the app. I love once you set it up, how easy the internet reconnects. We did have our internet would get disturbed. The internet connection with the bot to the phone would get disturbed a couple of times. But honestly, around here, that may just be us. We have internet problems on our property, and our cell phones don't even always work on our property. So that could be us and not Betty. I don't know for sure. But it wasn't an issue. She just kept going. And so when that would happen, we would just set the timer and check on her every 30 minutes when we knew it was close to having been 5 hours. She runs in our pool for 5 hours. We have a rather large pool. Our pool is about 20 feet by 40 feet. So our pool is rather large and we have a good deep end to it. And she just kicked it in the backside. I love the way that she moves. I love the way that she does it her own way. It makes no sense the way that she cleans the pool in my brain, watching her go from one end to the other and crisscross applesauce. But by the time you're done, by the time she's done, it looks fantastic. I loved how soft the hand is on the back of Betty, because I can put it down on stuff and not worry that she's going to scratch stuff up. I absolutely love the way that she skims my pool. I hate skimming the pool. I hate skimming the pool before I go in the pool. I don't know why. I think it's just because if I want to go swimming, I want to go swimming and I don't want to have to skim our pool. And even though we have a cage, the reality is that it still gets crud in it. So I love that she skims my pool and she does a fantastic job of it. Ultimately, it comes down to right back to where we started. She solves my problems. And I am so grateful for that. And so what I offer you is I offer you our story, our 5-day science experiment. I offer you every feature that she has. She's absolutely amazing. She can do the bottom. She can do the walls. She can skim, as we've just established how much I appreciate the fact that she can skim. But what she did is she opened our pool. So here we are with an open pool, ready to have grand summer adventures and get in the water and enjoy our Central Florida life. And it's all because I got this silly little bot that costs a little bit too much money, and she's going to solve the problem. The best part is she's going to pay for herself in the first 6 months of me not having to pay for a pool man. Oh, I also love that when she is wet after having been in the pool, all I have to do is, it says I can just immediately plug her in. I personally like to make sure that all the water's out, really drain it well, and I let her sit for just a little bit. But it says that you can just towel dry it off and you can plug it in to recharge it immediately. I love that I don't have to let it sit for an extended amount of time before I can recharge it. There's really nothing okay. That's not true. The one negative thing I can say about Betty, our bot, is that she does play with my jets. She changes the direction in which they're headed. So that would be the one negative thing that I could offer you about my Sora 70, is that I have to come out, and every once in a while I've had to readjust my jets after she has come out and cleaned the pool. I can't say enough good things. I have one bad thing. I promise if you take this grand adventure, you will be satisfied, like our family, with what she can do for you. And maybe she's not a Betty. Maybe she's a Bruce. Who knows who you're going to get in the mail? But I happen to know that you are not going to be disappointed with your Sora 70. This is the final result. But it's not, because the reality is the glorious thing is that I'm going to drop Betty tomorrow. We cleaned it 3 days ago, was the 5th day. I've just sat here and brushed, and I have some sediment and a little bit of cloudiness, but it's not bad at all. And we're going to drop it tomorrow, and we're going to be in the pool tomorrow. And we have a pool party happening this weekend for teenagers. It is pool open. So overall, highly satisfied with my new Beatbot Sora 70. Absolutely impressed with the ease of use. Absolutely impressed with the way that it only took 5 times to clean an insanely filthy pool. And here we are. Here's the finished product of when we stopped doing it daily, but now but now we will do it as needed. What a glorious idea. And I'm overly impressed with our Betty. So I will let it sit overnight now that I've brushed it, and I'll drop my bot in the morning, and we'll be ready to go swimming by afternoon. And then I will drop my bot again. It's early in the week. I'll drop my bot on Thursday so that we're ready for an early pool party on Friday, because we'll be here all day. This is amazing. I genuinely am so thankful and am in love with my Betty, my Beatbot Sora 70. So exciting.